life is beautiful. It's full of laughter and joy, but it also is an experience that brings with it pain sometimes. So today in the studio, we have a very special guest, Mr. Elvis Lee. He's going to share with us how he handled pain in his life. Please join me in welcoming him to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Molly. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Our pleasure. Would you please tell us a little bit about your experience with pain?
Sure. I'm just a regular guy, just like anybody out there. My job, I work as a police officer. And obviously I see life and death sometimes, and I see things that are, a little bit out of the ordinary sometimes. But when it happened to you, yourself, then you go, what, sometimes you go, what happened, And this happened about, I have a son. His name is Timothy. He was born normal, very healthy baby. At 4 months, he was ahead of his milestone. And then, but unfortunately, on 6 months after his second set of immunization, he started to develop seizures. And from that point on, they could not control it. He was in the hospital. And at that time, it was a time of unbelief. Imagine you have a son or daughter, your loved one, then all of a sudden something happened to them at such a young age. Well, several things happen to you. You think about it. First of all your dreams and hope is like being dashed away. It's being shattered. Our life was shattered, me and my wife at that time. It's horrific because we have to go to hospital with sick children. He was staying there all the time. On the average year, I would say he would be a sick kid for around 20 to 25 weeks. That's pretty long, right?
That's a very long time.
Yeah, and then, but near the end, as he get closer to age 12, by the time it was last year in sick kid, he was there 40 weeks after 52 weeks. And at the last time that he was there, he couldn't make it out. So it was horrible, yes.
So what did the doctors say was the cause of seizures?
Well, even up to his death, there was no, they haven't determined the diagnosis for, they just keep on saying it's infantile spasm. They keep on saying that his seizure was uncontrolled. And of course with that, he had developmental delay. So it's like what happened, it's like if I have a file, right, with all kinds of paper in it, I walk with it, no problem, it's with me, then I drop it. The paper scatter all over the floor, right? That's what happened to their brain when they have seizures, okay? And then after the seizure finished, you're trying to pick it up again, and then within a couple of minutes, you drop that file again. So it's everywhere again. So for him, it was a tough life for Timothy. And on top of the seizure, because he was taking so much medication, right? At one point, he would have like 16 different type of medication that we have to administer to him through various ways. And then it's every 3 to 4 hours. And he was G2 fat too. So he couldn't eat because there's no controlling of his mouth. He lost that ability at 6 months. So we have to feed him through a tube.
Wow.
Yes.
So talk to us as a father. How did you deal with that? And as a parent, because, as parents, people want to do everything for their children. They want to fix it. And then you find yourself in a place where you look at your child and you say, wow, I can't help my child. I'm helpless.
Exactly. Well, let's get it down first. Timothy was born in 1999, and he passed away that 2012. Okay. And unfortunately, coincidentally, I also have a daughter. Her birthday is July 22nd, and Timothy passed away July 21st.
Okay.
So every year when it's that time for my daughter's birthday, I also have to be reminded and deal with it again. Because it's my daughter's birthday too, right? Again, how did I deal with it? let's go back to the medical prognosis first.
Mm-hmm.
At first, when we were given the news that he has seizures, I thought, okay, he's a young child, he can get out of it, it will get better.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away when he was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So when he was 1, we think, okay, let's give him some hope. He's gonna grow out of it. But the evidence showed that he's not getting better. He's actually getting worse.
Progressively worse, yeah.
Exactly. He could never walk. He never did walk. Well, he took a couple steps, not even step. It was 6 months. You couldn't walk at that time yet. He was just trying to stand up, And I still remember that time when in the beginning I was very happy, We would play with him. He would be tracking us with his head, looking around. We're holding him up. And he was trying to stand up, and it was a happy time. And then as soon as the seizures start, our life was turned upside down. One by one, his ability was stripped from him because of the seizure and the developmental delay. So he was quadriplegic. He could not walk. He could not use his hand. He cannot talk. He cannot eat properly with his mouth. When we feed him, it's pureed at best. But even if that, he will start choking. And then we will have to suction him all the time, even not with food, but even just with his own saliva. So, and nighttime when we sleep, we have to have one eye open because we would listen to the monitor. If he starts to gurgle, we know that we have to go into suction him. And then every 3-4 hours, like I said, we have to feed him through the G-tube. Every 3-4 hours, we have to give him medication. And there are different types of medications. Some of them you can't mix together. You have to wait a little bit. So it was a horrific time. Back to the prognosis and the diagnosis. He was never giving a definite answer of what caused the seizure. But what we knew was that when he was around 10, 11 years old, his brain was much smaller than a regular person at that age. And
well, seizures can do that to you.
Yes,
right?
Because his brain was not functioning,
Fully developed.
was not developing, right? He was just very fragile because initially some of the medication that he took will take away his immunity. So, for example, you and I, when we get sick, we can fight it off. For him, with the hormones and adrenaline that he was given as a treatment for a seizure, also weaken his immune system, right?
Yes.
So throughout his life, he will have pneumonia, he would have flu, but his flu is different from ours. It's very intense because then you have to suction him and you have to worry about his breathing. And near the end, we have to have a trach on him. So that was not a life for anybody at all.
Now, as I'm listening to your story and how you dealt with all of this, in spite of all that you and your family have had to go through, you still have a smile on your face. How did you handle this kind of pain?
Well, I can tell everybody that I'm a Christian and I believe that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. But I'm not just saying that as a cliche. People say, oh, I believe that, I believe that. You said how I handle it. Well, it was through faith. Without it, I would have a lot of regret. I would have a lot of resentment. I would be very unhappy. Imagine who can be happy with a situation like that.
Absolutely.
I was not happy. The way that Timothy had his seizure too was kind of weird. Just, I don't know how to explain it. The night before, at that time, I was very successful. See, in my life, I was a graduate from York with economics degree. Then I got into the financial profession. I have my Canadian security course. I have my Canadian option course. I passed my, I'm a certified financial planner. And then I also got my certified investment manager. And in the end, I became a fellow of Canadian Security Institute, which is the highest destination that you can get, for the profession. And I was also a TSC trading attorney. So with all those combined, you can imagine, I was doing very well financially. I was not old, but I was not young at all, so it was a good fit. And that night before I was driving home, I was saying, I'm so happy I have a son, everything is going well, and family's going well. And I was going, thank you, Lord, for all this. And I, in my heart of heart, I just said it, I just want to offer my life to you, whatever I can do for you, because I feel that all these things is from him, and he has given me abundance of wealth, through trading, equities and options and things like that. So I'm happy. But after that prayer, within 12 hours, Timothy started to have seizures. And I don't know if you remember, way back, there was before the financial crash in the 2008, the mortgage crisis, there was the .com bubble.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and it was at that time that not just Timothy's life turned upside down, my life turned upside down, because as a professional trader, some of my trade didn't go that well after that time, right? So I was going, what is going on? Everything seems to turn upside down at that moment. So how come I'm still happy this day? Well, as you see, I'm still here. I'm sitting talking to you. I'm a police officer now. I still do my trading, every day. I still have a lot of gift that God have given me. And then I don't say this lightly. For people who doesn't have faith, I encourage them to explore, because it helps me to put a foundation of my life. That whenever something crash, I have a place to go to, that I'm secure. I know who I am. And in terms of life and death with Timothy, obviously, I don't think that any parent should see their child passing. But when that happened, you can tell God, you can ask him, what's going on? How come you're taking him away from me?
Yes.
And do I deserve this? Does he deserve this? He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So why? But then you think again, who gave me all this? Go back in the beginning, right? How do I have all these securities? Even without stuff outside, I would say my heart is still at peace. And that is the key ingredients to survive this, is the peace inside, that you have to calm that storm. You see, when Timothy got sick, we walked into a tempest. There was like a horrific storm that happened that you didn't expect.
You didn't expect, and you felt that you were not ready for it.
No, definitely not.
Who is ever ready for something like that?
No, I was a young parent, and Timothy was only 6 months old. I was brand new. And I was just trying to adjust to that happy life, of parenthood. And then all of a sudden, my world just turned upside down. But overall, how can I say this? In life, you learn a lot of things. You learn how difficult sometimes it is, how delicate it is, how fragile it is. I can't even tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow, right?
That's right, yeah. No one has a guarantee of tomorrow, absolutely.
Yes. So with that being said, security is not from outside. Security is in here. And with God, I found security here.
All right. So if there's somebody who's going through this experience or experiencing some kind of hardship, there are all kinds of hardships that come our way, totally unexpected.
Yes.
What would you like to tell them? If you can just look in the camera and just share a couple of insights or that you can share with them that can help them cope with what it is that they're dealing with.
Certainly, Molly.
Okay.
Well, look at it this way. Let's jump forward to when Timothy passed away. I was in denial. I was in anger. I was not at peace. I was wondering if there's anything that I could have changed, or anyone that had done wrong to me or to Timothy, and so on. You can go on and start blaming things. You can go on and start complaining about things. But in the end, is that going to help? What you need to do is find a way to go through this and find the inner peace that you can restore in your heart. With Timothy, um, I'm thankful that he was here. He taught me many things. Actually, I wrote a poem about him. Would you like me to share about that poem?
Please.
Okay, so here I'm gonna share this poem with everybody out there. Hopefully, you can find some comfort and wisdom and peace into what I'm reading here. This poem is called "I'm the Child," and it's a adopted poem. And I wrote into it about Timothy's experience. So here it goes. My name is Timothy. I am the child who cannot talk. You often pity me. I see it in your eyes. You wonder how much I am aware of, but you know, I see that as well. I'm aware of much, whether you are happy or sad, fearful or calm, patient or impatient, or if you're filled with anger, resentment, and despair. I'm smiling when you're full of love, compassion, gentleness, kindness, joy, desire, and hope. I do feel that if you are just doing your duty or work by me without care, love, or affection, or if your hearts really care about me, I marvel at your frustration, knowing mine to be far greater. For I cannot meet my basic needs or express myself as you do. You cannot conceive my isolation, so complete it is at times. I do not give you with clever conversation or cute remarks to be laughed over and repeat. I do not give you answers to your everyday questions, nor response over my well-being, sharing my needs, or comment about the world surrounding me or about me. I do not give you reward as defined by the world standard, great strive and achievement and development that you can credit and pride yourself. I do not give you understanding as you know it. What I do give you is so much more valuable. I give you instead opportunities to discover the depth of your character, not mine, touching the depth of your love, your commitment, your patience, and your abilities. I give you opportunities to explore your spirit more deeply than you ever imagined possible. I will drive you further than you would ever go on your own, working harder and seeking answers to your many questions with no answers, no open doors. My name is Timothy. I am the child who cannot talk. My name is Timothy. I am the child who cannot walk. The world seems to pass me by. You see the longing in my eyes to get out of this chair, to run and play like other children. This much you take for granted. I want toys on the shelf. I need to go to the bathroom. And oh, I cannot even pick up the teddy bears right beside me. That's because I have no control over my arms too. I'm dependent on you in every ways. My gift to you is to make you more aware of your great fortune, your healthy body with arms and legs, and your abilities to do and take care of yourself. Taking initiative and making your path as you see fit. Sometimes people appear not to notice me, but I always notice them. I feel not so much as envy, but desire to stand upright, to put one foot in front of the other, to reach out and grab my loved ones, and to be independent. I give you awareness. My name is Timothy. I am the child who cannot walk. My name is Timothy. I am the child who is mentally impaired. I don't learn easily. If you judge me by the world measuring sticks, upon there can be no comparison. But what I do know is the infinite joy of simpler things. I'm not burdened as you are with strife and conflict of more complicated life. My gift to you is to grant you the freedom to enjoy things as a child, to teach you how much your arms around me means, to give you love. I give you the gift of simplicity. My name is Timothy. I am the child who is mentally impaired. My name is Timothy. I am the disabled child. I cannot use my hands and feet, nor can I talk. I cannot eat and drink by myself. I need a feeding pump to sustain my living and daily needs. I cannot taste the food and drinks like you do, since I cannot control my mouth. I cannot do anything without the help of a caregiver. I cannot create wealth as the world sees fit, nor do I have dreams of glory and desires of possessions and achievement. But I can be your teacher, if you allow me. In reliance, I give you my innocent trust, my dependence upon you. I teach you about how precious this life is, and how not to take things for granted. I teach you about leaving behind, forgetting your own needs and desire and dreams. I will teach you what is really important in life, to know the joy of living and the precious gift of life, to use that gift and add meaning and light into your life each and every day. I teach you giving. In giving, I will teach you and give you unconditional love. I will show you and drive you to understand what does it mean to love without limit, to understand the profoundness of your own limitation, to reach the depth of your own love, and finally to add meaning, understanding, and light into your spirit, to reach the depth of the love in your precious heart. But most of all, I will teach you love, faith, and hope, even in the face of uncertainty and certain defeat. To view eternalness and peace from the face of our own mortality, going past regrets and brokenness, to see and imagine eternity in the purity of our eternal God, to catch a glimpse of eternal light and the face of God through the impression of humanity, and lastly, to overcome despair with love, joy, faith, smile, and laughter. My name is Timothy. I am the disabled child.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank you.
such wisdom in this poem. And so there's so many lessons that all of us can learn from your experience, and all of us have experienced adversity.
Yes.
But it's just that it's how you deal with it that determines whether you're a winner or a loser.
Yes, definitely.
Right? It's not what happens to you, they say.
Yes.
It's how you react to it that determines
Definitely.
the depth of your character.
I would just say, don't let life beat you around, but in return, make something meaningful out of it.
Right, because we have no guarantees of tomorrow.
That's right.
You know, as you mentioned, you know, you were at the peak of what you thought was in terms of your career, in terms of having a family.
Yes.
And now a son was born. It's like everything is going according to plan.
Yes.
And then this happened, right? So the big takeaway that I take from all of this is that not to take our loved ones for granted.
Definitely.
Right?
Most
Cherish every moment that we have with our loved ones, and cherish every moment that we have with our family members, and brace ourselves for times when things will not be going that well.
Yes.
Right? And rely upon faith. Faith is important.
Well, I found that faith is the key because it gave me eternal hope.
Absolutely.
And I have full confidence that I will see Timothy someday in heaven.
And I mean, how do you beat that?
That's exactly.
So, and when you do see him, he will be perfect.
Yes.
Right? That is what the Bible tells us. When we do meet our loved ones in heaven, they're going to be just perfect.
Yes.
And where he's even now, he's in perfect health, in perfect condition, and happy.
If you still have time, do you want me to tell you a dream that I had?
Okay.
Yeah. So what happened is, it's like a miracle. First of all, 1 week after Timothy passed away, that exactly around the same time as around 7:30 in the morning, I had a dream. I was dreaming. I was entering a stadium, and then all of a sudden, this light being just shines around me, 3 of them. And then I saw Timothy in one of the benches lying down. And since his whole life, he is a quadriplegic. He does not move on his own. I went to embrace him and hug him. Then all of a sudden, he stood up right in front of me.
How amazing.
Yes, but that's not the end. But when then he would talk to me. He doesn't talk to me, but he said, "Daddy, I have to go now." And then I just saw him raise up into the clouds. For me, some people might say that as a dream. For me, it was comforting to know that God allows him to show me that Timothy is good. He's in heaven.
And God communicates with us through dreams.
But then there's confirmation after that. It's not just about that. So Timothy passed away in 2012. This is 2019. In 2018, we have a close friend that she died from cancer at age 54, brain cancer. And my wife, she say a prayer, and she was saying to God, if you allow, let Timothy usher the other person, her name is Lily, into heaven. Without our knowing, all of a sudden, we just got a call one day, and that was Lily's daughter, and Caitlin. And she told us, I have to tell you guys something. I said, oh, what? What's so wonderful? And she said, no, actually, I had a dream. I said, oh, okay. I dreamt that I saw Lily, her mother, right, in heaven. It was in a garden. But beside her, it was Timothy holding her hand.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and Timothy is not a little boy. It's a grown adult. But when you see that face, you know that it was Timothy. And both of them just turned around and smiled at Caitlin. That's amazing to me. It was not my dream, but someone tell me that. And I'm sure, for me anyways, a person of faith, that's a confirmation. Several things. God is alive, that there's a heaven, and that we'll see our loved ones over there.
Absolutely. And how amazing is that?
Yes.
That he would do this.
Yes.
Right? We don't know what caused your son to suffer as much as he suffered.
Yes.
Right? But God didn't cause. One thing we know for sure.
Yes.
It was not God who caused his suffering. And through this dream, God let you know that your son is safe.
Yes.
And that was important to you and your family?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So when you ask me, how come I can smile? I tell you, through God, everything is possible.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Molly.
So if you are someone who's going through a similar kind of adversity, there is hope. There's absolute hope. And you too can drive comfort from knowing that there is someone else who's been through this experience and has survived and has come out stronger on the other side, and you too can make it. And it is all right.
Yes.
Yes, life is still worth celebrating.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, and so pain only emphasizes even more how much more we need to value the good things that the good Lord gives us.
Yes.
Right? So with that, if you'd like to reach us and with your comments, or if you have any questions, please do so. You can reach me at 647-979-3220. And don't go anywhere. We have lots more for you. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your experience and your wisdom with us. Appreciate that.
Thank God.
Okay.
Thank you.